I tell people, with a water hazard, you're entitled to 3 options. With a lateral water hazard, you're entitled to 5 options. Okay, let's go to the water hazard. The yellow one. I don't know who that is. I'm not a great...
It's not me because I never get over
That's
the water.
the stick golfer. Okay, I'm giving you a...
Let me hold it and you can point.
This is a direct line of flight from where the ball is teed to the hole. None of us hit it that straight, okay? But just for illustrative purposes, this is the way it's going to be. Where did the ball last? Let's say the ball went in the hazard here. He dribbled it in it or he flew it in it. Where, in this diagram at least, did the ball last across the margin of the hazard?
Right there.
Right there? Okay. It's where the yellow line would be, not necessarily where the blue line would be. Okay, yellow line outside the water. That's where it lasts across the margin of the hazard. That's the determining point. You can, I said you had 3 options. You can play it where it lies. If you can go underwater, or if it's, on the grassy part but inside the hazard, you can play it where it lies. You can go back to where you hit it from. That's your second option. Or you can go where it lasts across the margin of the hazard, keeping that point between you and the hole. Here's the hole. Keep that point between you and the hole and go back as far as you want, so long as you're on the golf course. I mean, you can go back 100 yards, you can go back 10 feet.
And just drop from there to there.
Okay, now, those are 3 options with the water hazard. Now, with the lateral water hazard, you've got those same 3 options. Let's say the person hooks it over into the lateral here, or pulls it. Hooks it, more likely. Okay, it goes in this hazard. You got the same 3 options. Play it where it lies, go back to the point from which you hit the ball, or keep that point where it lasts across the margin. Let's say it crossed right there between you and the hole. Here's the hole, and here's the margin where it lasts across. And you have to go on a line that way as far as you can, or as far as you wish, so long as that option is available. It may not be a good one. Okay, so those are your 3 options. Then you got 2 more options. Where that ball lasts across the margin, we'll say right there at that red dot, you can drop within 2 club lengths, no nearer the hole. So you'd have to come back, you'd have to angle it down this way. No nearer the hole. But you have to drop outside the hazard. You can't drop it inside the hazard. Okay, that's your 4, makes 4 options. Your next option is to go on the opposite margin of the hazard. In a lateral, it would be directly across. That's how you would determine the opposite margin. So you go over here to the opposite margin, and you can drop it within 2 club lengths of that point, no nearer the hole.
But you also just said that you can go back as far as you want.
That's correct.
So you're not limited to the 2 club lengths?
That's correct.
Except it's awfully hard to keep. You can go back as far as you want to, but it's hard to keep that point between you and the hole. You still got, on a lateral hazard, it's really hard. If here's the hole, and you got to keep that point where it crossed, you got to go way back over here.
Yeah.
For instance, number 2 out here.
Yeah.
You've got a lateral hazard along the left side. Okay, you can drop out 2 club lengths on the fairway side of that hazard, or you can go to the opposite margin. You'd probably be dropping on the cart path, but you still have to drop it. And if you wind up with your stance or swing being interfered by the cart path, then you have to take relief from that. That's a layer on layer issue there. But any questions about this? Do you get this rule? Just think of 3 options for this one and 5 options for that one.
So if you hit in the number 2, if you hit in that ditch, you get 2 club lengths. Say you want to go to the fairway behind you, which usually is a matter of stance. You can go 2 club lengths from the hazard backwards.
Well, you have to remember that you take the point where the ball lasts across the margin of the hazard, determine that first. And then you get 2 club lengths from that point on the side from which the ball went in. Or you can go to the opposite margin and you get 2 club lengths.
2 club lengths, it's going to be just getting you up to the edge. Well, Sue brought up something about one of the things that we're skipping over here.
I think we got that.
When you take the relief, you get full relief, which is stance relief, and then you get 2 club lengths. So it's not just 2 club lengths from where it crossed the margin of the hazard, but you get your relief and then 2 club lengths when you're paying for it. And if you're getting a free drop, then you get full relief, and then one more club length.
So you get, okay, I got you.
You're not determining your relief in a hazard situation, isn't it? Just, you get straight 2 club lengths.
You get relief, you get stance relief, and 2 club lengths. You think we have a disagreement there? Well, let's look it up. That's one of the wonderful things about it.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. I've been playing this rule wrong all the years. Maybe I need to,
Well, look it up.
let
I
me
think
get the
that's
little book.
okay.
And you're talking about the red hazard.
Yes.
Right.
I gotta get my glasses.
A couple of years ago, I was out at the Maumelle Classic on number 10, just sitting out there watching guys hit. And for a while, guys would hit the ball over the pond toward the green on number 10, and the ball would come back in. Well, probably half a dozen guys went around that hazard and dropped their ball on the other side. And I finally found an official. I said, those guys are dropping on the wrong side of the hazard out there. They need to come back. So
Yeah.
they posted somebody out there to make sure they didn't do that.
I know, it's one of the things.
Because that's a big disadvantage when you go back.
I've never been enough boy to hit it over.
Kevin, you had the question?
On number 5 and number 8, you've got the slope up to the green.
Yes.
Many times my ball plugs.
Yes.
What's the rule for that? Do I have to play the plug, or do I get relief from that?
Well, if there is a local rule in effect that says the ball plug, you do get relief, then you do get, yeah. And I think almost always everybody plays relief. So what you're supposed to do is lift. That's one of the times when you lift the ball, you may clean it. So you can clean it, and then you drop it as near as possible. And if it rolls back down, that's fine, as long as it doesn't roll more than 2 club lengths from that spot. If it rolls more than 2 club lengths, you have to keep trying to drop it until the point that you have to.
So it's not really fix the hole and place the ball?
No. I wrote that down a few times.
Well, we all do. We all do.
Okay.
In addition to the going back and playing where you hit the ball, and then
Which rule are you on?
this is rule 26-1C, page 98. Okay, as additional options available only if the ball lasts across the margin of a lateral water hazard, drop a ball outside the water hazard within 2 club lengths of and not nearer the hole than the point where the original ball last crossed the margin of the water hazard, or 2, a point on the opposite margin of the water hazard equidistant from the hole. Okay, I gave you some wrong
So
information
you
out there.
can't go back.
Let me clarify something here. Yes, you can go back. That's as an additional option. A and B are options, first of all, and then as an additional option.
With no limit to how far behind the water hazard the ball may be dropped. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, folks, if you, on the lateral hazard, I told you, okay, let's say the ball went in right here at this red dot. I said you have to go to the opposite margin. According to the rule, you have to go to the opposite margin equidistant from the point where it crossed the margin. In other words, you'd go this, okay, here's the hole, so, you know, it's this distance to right here. Then you go on the opposite margin, the way I read this.
It is. You're right. It's Frank's radius again.
Yes.
It's the radius.
Just the radius of the circle.
Yeah.
So I
So you're saying that it is 2 club lengths only, and it's not stance within 2 club lengths?
That's correct.
On a hazard. All right.
From the
With an
hazard.
unplayable lie, you would get really within 2 club lengths. Okay. It's a lifetime study, trying to get this stuff right. And then remember,
Right, no, on an unplayable lie, it would be 2 club lengths on that.
you think it's only 2
But
club
when would
lengths
you
on
get
that?
fence? Is there any time?
Yeah, because you get the 2 club lengths, or you get to go back as far as you want, or you go back and re-hit it. I think that's real accurate.
We'll read that one.
All right, here's a question though. If
Okay.
it's either a red hazard or a yellow hazard, you still can't ground your club, correct?
That's correct.
So it's a hazard, no grounding of the club.
That's correct.
Okay.
And one of the little rules of thumb to help rules of